Hey everyone, how's it going today? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. So earlier today, right, I was just going about my daily business, doing some grocery shopping at the liquor store, for more beer of course. And my phone starts going off with notification after notification, and I thought to myself, what the heck is going on here? Am I getting punked by a friend? And lo and behold, the Warriors just signed Gary Payton Jr., or Gary Payton II if you prefer, to a 10-day contract. The son of Hall of Famer, the legendary defensive stopper himself, Mr. Payton, aka The Glove. There's a whole lot of stuff I want to say right now, but first of all, I gotta say, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's go get this one. So Gary Payton II, huh? His nickname is the Mitten, which is probably a childhood nickname his father gave him. Kinda cute if you ask me, but I do wish it was a bit more nasty. Like how Coach Pop wants more nasty. If I was Coach Pop, I'd be pressuring Payton to change his nickname to something like the Nasty Mitten, or Mr. Nasty, or something like that. Actually, guys, this conversation seems to be going down a rabbit hole that I'd rather steer clear of. So, where was I again? Oh yeah, after everything Bob Myers said about being aggressive, we get this dude. So, you know what the first thing I did was? I gently dropped my beer in the grocery basket. Then, I took out my phone and went online, and typed in Gary Payton II. First on Wikipedia to do a quick check on what he's accomplished so far. Then I go to YouTube to get a closer look of what the man can do. My conclusion is, this guy is a defensive beast. I mean, he was the Defensive Player of the Year this season for the G League. He's listed at 6'3", but from just looking at his highlights, he looks more like 6'1" at the very most. I guess we'll see once the NBA officially measures him. I'm not sure the G League is as strict as the NBA when it comes to measurements. But despite his size, he's athletic, he's quick, and he's got real active hands when it comes to defense. It looks like a little bit of his dad's defensive genes passed on to him, because he has some real high defensive IQ. He averaged 2.5 steals per game last season in the G League, while only playing just under 22 minutes per game, which is pretty good. I mean, not pretty good, real good. I mean, one of my basketball heroes, the late great Kobe Bryant, only averaged 2.2 steals in his best season, and the Black Mamba was an All-NBA defensive player for over a decade. Now the big question is, what can Payton do for the Warriors? Well, I'm actually glad the Warriors didn't change their starting five, because I like the combination of Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, Draymond Green, and Kelly Oubre Jr. It's a good starting five, and probably a top 5 starting five currently in the league if you ask me. The problem with the Warriors all season was when Steph goes to the bench, the offense stops and the bleeding starts. Now can Payton add a little bit of firepower to the Warriors? Well, let's take a look. This past season in the G League, he averaged about 11 points per game. When I saw that, I thought to myself, okay, not bad on only 22 minutes, right? So that's decent. Then I looked at his three-point percentage, which was 17.9%, and the first thing I was reminded of was Brad Wanamaker. I think at this time, I actually screamed while still in the liquor store. It was pretty quiet inside the store. People just quietly going about their business. Then, a lightning-sharp cry out of nowhere. Just kidding, guys. But in my head, I screamed for sure, and my blood pressure increased by about 20% for a split second. Anyway, I then looked at his regular field goal percentage, and it was 55.5%, and I thought to myself, not bad, not bad. He's not much of a shooter, which is evident from his three-point shooting percentage and his free throw percentage, which is just shy of 70%. He's more of a guy who attacks in the paint and attacks the rim. Last season when Payton played in the NBA as part of the Washington Wizards, he played 29 games and he took pretty much 95% of his shots, either within 5 feet of the paint or beyond the arc when he had an open shot. Not a perfect guy, but hey, not everyone can be like Steph Curry and score 90% from anywhere past half court. Now I'll tell you why I'm a little excited for this acquisition by the Warriors. Payton may not be the best shooter, but he'll be efficient from the floor because he really only attacks when he's at the rim or has an open three. He's also just an absolute thief who should go to prison for all the steals he got during his career. He'll be coming off the bench for sure. And this leads me to my next point and why I think this might be a good move for the Warriors. It's no secret that the Warriors are doing so poorly this season is because the bench stinks. When the bench isn't scoring and is bleeding, it doesn't just affect the scoreboard, it affects the morale of the team. And that sort of trickles down to every player on the team. except Steph Curry. Well, if Payton can be a defensive beast coming off the bench and get a few steals that lead to easy transition buckets, and more than the points, it'll boost the spirit and inject energy into the second unit. I mean, Poole is as fast as they come pretty much, so every time Payton can get a steal or deflect a pass, I can see Poole racing down the floor to get that easy bucket, and once Poole sees the ball going in the hoop, he gains real confidence from that. I just hope to dear God that he doesn't start taking bad shots when he gains that boost of confidence. Another thing is, if the second unit still can't really score that well, then at least hopefully, Payton can stop the bleeding when Steph is on the bench. Payton can probably guard the opponent's point guard, so that means like Trae Young, Kyrie Irving, and all those guys who are just fast and tricky and stuff. I won't say he'll be able to stop those superstars, but hopefully, he can make things difficult and slow them down just a little. Let's take a look at what Warriors fans online are saying about the Mitten so far, since he signed that 10-day contract. Number 1. This was a surprising signing, but damn, he's a defensive monster. Just what the Bay needed. Number 2. Warriors really need this guy, not gonna lie. He's a defensive monster, which the Warriors lack. Number 3. Now I see why the Warriors signed him. He plays similar to Iguodala. Number 4. I am here because the Dubs signed him, hoping he can bring a positive impact to the team. Let's get it, at Dub Nation. And last but not least, number 5. Looks good. Hopefully he'll be a much better fit than Wanamaker was. Looks like the Warriors fans are liking this acquisition so far. And I am too. I felt like the Warriors needed a bit more toughness inside them. You know, because honest to God, they have the talent. It's not due to a shortage of talent that put them in the 10th seed. But it was more a shortage of energy. And not bringing that fight to the games. I don't know about you guys, but losing due to a lack of effort is not acceptable to me. You know, these days, I'm watching Last Chance U basketball on Netflix. Have y'all seen this show? I just love how Coach Mosley is coaching his young fellas. I feel like that's what the Warriors need. You know, someone to just get in your face and tell you to try harder and to understand what's at stake here. Steph Curry knows what it's all about. I mean, that's why he was so frustrated during that Clippers game, because the others just weren't hustling. Something tells me that Steph won't have to tell Payton to hustle. Something tells me that ever since Payton Jr. was a little kid, his father, Mr. Payton, was in his face, already telling him he needs to hustle. Dang, guys, Gary Payton II has probably been hustling since he was like 5 years old. Man, if Payton can hustle and bring that energy to the bench, and if that causes the whole bench to hustle, then my friends, we are in for a treat. The next 5 games are against the Wizards, Rockets, Nuggets, Thunder, and Cavaliers. Aside from the Nuggets, those 4 games should be wins. And even against the Nuggets, the Warriors can win. Let's see if Payton can inject that energy into the Bay Area and get a long winning streak here. Starting April 23rd, fans will be allowed into the Chase Center. I think I might get myself some tickets to watch the Dubs. Win that championship, baby. Come on, this is the final stretch, Dub Nation. Let's go get it. In the meantime, let me finish this beer I've been holding this whole time. You know, before it gets warm, because warm beer is, oof, gross, no bueno.